Welcome into the Christmas edition of the Box Score. And we've got 4 interviews lined up for the day. We're starting off with Jeff Luttrell. He's now the Wilson County Director of Schools. He used to be a coach at Watertown High School, and then he was a principal. He played baseball at Cumberland University, and we won't say how many years that's been ago. But we've got him today. We've got Randy Jennings, a former teammate, if I'm not mistaken, of Coach Luttrell's a little later. And then we've got Dirk Ash. He'll talk about the Smith County teams that he had. And then we've got Ronny Burks from Cannon County. So we've got a loaded show today, Murphy, with some 4 interviews that we do every year at our Christmas edition of the Box Score.
Yeah, got some pretty standout names there. Household words in a lot of communities all across the area.
And have affected literally thousands of lives throughout their teaching and coaching career. And
in a very positive way, I'll add to that too.
I will agree. We're going to be joined first by Jeff Luttrell. He's the, as we said, the school director for Wilson County. Coach, we appreciate you being with us. I know you were the Watertown girls coach for 6-7 years, and then became the principal, and rocketed on up the path. Now the school director of a small system in Wilson County that's got a ton of students and kids, and I know you've got a lot on your plate.
Well, I do, but glad to do this, and don't forget, I started in Trousdale County. Coach Jim B. Satterfield, Mr. Woodmore hired me right out of college, and so I spent 6 years there as girls basketball coach and teacher, and really I reflect back some of my fondest memories happened during that tenure, but glad to do it, glad to be with you.
All right, Coach, I'm not going to tell you who wants this first question, but I promised her I would do it. She's been on this show before, and she wants you to explain to our viewers what the Luttrell 10 rule is as far as coaching. So I give Brenna, your daughter, the head coach at Watertown High School, that privilege. Now you can either duck the question or answer, whichever you'd like to do.
Well, since she's put me on the spot, I'm not going to duck it, and me and her will have a conversation later.
Her Christmas present just got smaller. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she got into coaching and without my encouragement, to be honest, but proud of her, what her and Seth's been able to do last couple of years. And, recently, in coaching, there's always struggles. And a lot of people don't see that, and when you're pouring your heart and soul into it. I try to stay out of it. I do stay out of it. I wish them the best, but occasionally will ask for some advice, not much. I guess I'm too old to give advice, but there was a discussion in our living room a few days ago about some things, and I said, look, it's simple. When you're struggling to score, you got to play defense. And if you're really good defensively, you've always got a chance, regardless of what your offense is. And they wanted me to expound on that, and I said, it's simple. I had a rule. I said, both of my tenures, I took over some programs were not in the best of spot at the time, talent-wise, and I said, I used to build on this. I'm going to find a way to score 10 a quarter, and I'm going to hold you to less than 10 a quarter, and I'm going to have a chance to win a lot of ball games. And ironically, the night they won a game, I think didn't score but 38 points, but they held somebody, I think, 28 points. So that's kind of the running joke that rule of 10 will work, and that's where that comes from.
Jeff, all of the titles that you have had in the past, the different hats that you have worn, they all have a common denominator. You love the kids, and you're trying to do everything that you can. But do you have some moments, some memories in the past positions that you've been in that you'll take to your grave because you just can't get it out of your head, so to speak?
Yeah, and that's what this business is all about. Is I was fortunate enough to have educators in my life. I went to a lot of different schools, a couple of different states, and always seemed like there was a teacher, there was a coach that invested and gave me an opportunity, and that's what this is about. And I walked in the gym the other night, watched Watertown play, and there's a former student that had a niece for a cousin or was playing for Smith County, and my wife sat there, she come up and we talked for quite a while. After when we got home, my wife said, that person don't remember much about the athletic part, but remembers the relationship you have. And to see these kids that are now adults that are very successful in life, their parents, their husbands, their wives, they're serving in their community in a good capacity. That's what it's all about.
Coach, I will say this, and I feel pretty qualified being around education as much as I have, but having the opportunity since 1985 to keep stats for Smith County High School and do radio since 1987. Yes, I remember the state tournament teams in 89 and 91, and in 2024 that my niece was on. And I remember a lot about basketball, but more about players. What I remember is those relationships and how that person treated other people, and then see them become moms and dads and, be a good role model, be a good worker in our community, and, leave it better than it was when you get there. And I think I remember that more about kids than anything else.
That's right. And that's, I tell people even in my role today, education is under the microscope, and that's fine, and it always has been, but you're really not going to know how good you are, regardless of all the accolades or all the lists you make, good or bad. But you will not know how good we are until 10 years down the road and we see what those students are doing in our community. And that's why I'm such a proponent of education and what it does, and what it's just cornerstone of our community.
Jeff, tell our viewers too, all the schools that you have under your umbrella. That's got to be, you've got the schools there in Mount Juliet, I guess, and Watertown, and now Green Hill, and that's an awful lot of responsibility, it sounds like to me.
It is, and we got 25 campuses, and from pre-K to adult ed. I'm proud of our adult ed program here in Wilson County. We're continuing to build. We just opened an elementary. We're building an elementary right now, and that will continue here as long as it's growth. But yeah, it's huge responsibility. But I try to stay in tune with. It's about the kids, and it's the daily life of school. That's where it happens, is inside those buildings. And athletics is such a big part of that. And plus our arts programs, our band program. There's nothing better than a community athletic event when kids are out there competing and people recognize that and they come to watch and support. And we've got that all over this state, especially here in the mid-state, my years. And it's pretty special.
Coaches always tell me that their greatest thrill is when one of their athletes comes back 5, 10, 15 years later, just to let that coach know how much they finally understand what it's like now that they've got kids of their own, what it means to have a coach like so many kids that you coached. Does that still happen to you, even though you're kind of out of that athletic arena, almost a little bit more on the academic side, but do you still have maybe teachers that come back and say, Jeff, you really made a positive impact on this school system?
Yeah, I've been around long enough. I'm starting to get that, and that is very rewarding. To say it's not would be not being honest. That just kind of validates what you have done in the past and what you continue to do every day.
Coach, when you look at your daughter, Brenna, of course, Seth, her assistant coach, her husband, that has to be some interesting talks at Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner and whenever they're at your house or at their own home. I know that they pour their heart and soul into Watertown girls basketball. There was a great turnaround. They won, I believe, 20 games a year ago. I went to the region tournament and really would like to get to the sub-state and state tournament. I don't think that Watertown girls have ever done that. I know that it's got to be button popping for you, and I say off your shirt, because they've done so well, and they're to be commended for the great job. Yes, they're two good friends of mine, but for the great job that they've done and continue to do at Watertown, not only on the floor, but I like the relationships they're building with kids off the floor.
Sure.
Well, yeah, and I'm proud of them. And you know, when they secured those positions, believe it or not, I did not support doing that. Just that's the daddy of me, because I know that the stress that you're under, the microscope you're under, and trying to keep everybody happy and compete and win, and but it is about those relationships, and I see that. You know, I'm not in that school every day, but when I'm there and I live in that community, and I watch what they're doing, and that's, it's not just them. That goes on all over America in these schools where people are doing it the right way. And one thing I've learned is those kids, those coaches that have success on the floor, everybody thinks it's the coaching guru part of it and the X's and O's, and that's got something to do with it. But what I know, that those people that are winning on the floor are very capable educators, and they're doing more. There's more to it than that. And they're investing in kids, and kids believe in them and see that. And that's what it's all about. And yes, I'm proud of them, but I'm proud of all coaches that do that and do it the right way.
Jeff, this is a tough question, and I probably shouldn't ask it, but I'm going to anyway. We've got about a minute and a half left. Who are the mentors? And I know it's probably a long list, but some of the people that have been most effective in your time as a coach or educator or a combination thereof.
Yeah, you always have. I call those stepping stones that get you across the creeks, keep you from getting your feet wet. And, you know, I'll take you back early in my career. I was struggling and didn't have very many kids playing. We were struggling, and Jim B. Satterfield gave me the best advice anybody's ever given me. And he came to me and said, I've watched you coach. I think you know the game, but I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Those kids are the only kids you have. And your job is to take the kids you have and make them the best basketball players and the best students and the best people you possibly can. And that has stuck with me for years and all the different roles I've served.
We want to wish the Luttrells a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to visit with us here on the Box Score.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
We've been visiting with former Watertown coach, former Trousdale County coach, Watertown principal, and now school director for Wilson County, Jeff Luttrell. We'll have an interview with Randy Jennings when we return to the Box Score, brought to you by Wellworth Bank.
At Wellworth Bank, we believe care makes for better banking. It's what turns transactions into trust and customers into neighbors. To us, people are more than numbers. They're families building futures, dreamers starting new journeys. We believe care should come standard because you're worth it. You always have been. Wellworth Bank, care in common. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Why do our customers choose Homeland Community Bank? Because we're committed to providing top-quality financial services while focusing on those personal banking relationships that treat you like the friends and neighbors that you are. From checking and savings to loans of all types, including those focused on business, Homeland Community Bank is truly ready to meet your needs. Contact us today to make the switch to better banking. Homeland Community Bank. Banking by the people, for the people. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you look at the big picture, you're really looking at family. Nothing means more to you than their safety. DTC Security gives you the peace of mind to live your life your way, helping you connect what matters most, no matter where you are or what you do.
Your home deserves an all-star defense. For just $49.99, Get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Helping you live life your way. We're DTC Security.
And welcome into the Box Score, brought to you by Wellworth Bank. This is our Christmas edition, and we've got 4 interviews set up today. And Randy Jennings is now with us. And Randy, we'll start out with playing at DeKalb County High School, 1,000-point scorer. Got to see you play during your career. At that time, you lived right in downtown Alexandria. Started dating a girl in high school that you eventually married, Deanna Jill Baker. Coach Donnie Baker that used to coach at Gordonsville's daughter. And then you had 2 kids, Corey Jennings, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year in softball, and Stephen Jennings, who just recently wrapped up his pro career. He's got 3 outstanding grandbabies now, 2 girls and a boy. And in fact, one of those boys was by my office.
Terry, back in the 50s and 60s, there was a show on TV called "This Is Your Life," and sounds like that's what we're after right now.
That's
Randy.
true. And then, of course, Randy after high school went on to play at Cumberland, and then started teaching and did that. Was a principal. Came to Smith County, was principal at Smith County Middle for a little while, and now back at DeKalb County, working in the central office there. Randy, I know that sports has been a big part of your life as far as playing and then getting an opportunity to play for Coach Hunt at the collegiate level. What an impact, no doubt, he has made on your life.
He has, but not only just Coach Hunt. I had some great coaches growing up, one, which is a lot of people, is first my dad. He was my coach growing up, and learned a lot of things from him about baseball particularly, and, life in general. And, Coach Bond at high school basketball, and Coach Reeder, my baseball coach at DeKalb County High School, who I get the fortunate to work with now. Here at the central office, major impact in my life. Me and Mr. Cripps, our director of schools, which played for him, we talk about things in our high school baseball career pretty much weekly, just remembering things and the good times we had. But yeah, Coach Hunt, still think the world of Coach Hunt, and some of the best days of my life, obviously, especially from youth to young adult, was spent on a baseball field, and was fortunate to get to go play at Cumberland for Coach Hunt, and had some great teammates, and like I said, just a great time of life.
Randy, obviously athletics have played an incredibly large part of your life, but at what point of your life did you think maybe coaching or even administrative at the school system level might be something that might be right down your alley?
Like I said, sports has always, as far as I could remember back as a kid, it was sports. That's just what I did growing up. And then, when I had kids, that's just what we did when they were growing up. And I was, as Terry said, I was blessed to have a wife that loved sports just as much as I do, and 2 kids that played all growing up and loved it. So we traveled the country getting to watch them play, and so it has always been part of my life. And when I was going to college, first was in business, and then decided, hey, I think I do want to coach a little bit, so changed over to education, and coach at the school level. Started as a coach at DeKalb West for a couple of years, basketball, and then moved to Watertown for about 3 years and coached boys assistant boys basketball, and then eventually the girls head coach for a couple of years, and baseball coach. And I love the games. I love sports in general, about any sports now. So I don't know if there was actually a specific time. It had always been a part of my life, and that just kind of seemed to be the natural fit. And even as an administrator, principal of basically 25 years, I go back to things that I learned through sports on how to try to be a good leader and a good role model and things for the kids, and then leader for the teachers in my building. And those things that I learned through sports, I think have helped me in my career.
Randy, we're going to have to give your dad, Donald, a shout out just because he used to work for DTC, if I remember right, back in the day.
He did. About 42 or 3 years, I think, he worked for DeKalb Telephone.
Randy, when you look at Corey, let's start with her, your oldest daughter. Of course, she's got Collins and Hattie, and two girls that I hope are someday going to be athletes, but who knows? We're dancers right now, and I understand that. But when you look at Corey, I had the privilege of watching her in travel ball as she was growing up. And y'all went all over the nation. I'm not talking about just the Southeast or just Tennessee and Alabama, but you went all over the nation with these different tournaments. And, she is skinny as a rail, about as big as my pinky at that time, and could throw it left-handed like a dart. Did you ever dream? I never did, in watching her. Yes, she was good, but to be the Gatorade Player of the Year in all classifications her senior year and have the success as far as state championships that she helped hang on the wall at Gordonsville, did you ever believe at a young age, and I'm talking about at 7 or 8 year old, that she was that special?
No, obviously not. When she first started playing softball at about 6 years old, I guess, the only reason she wanted to play because Stephen was 3 years younger than her, and he could stand out in the front yard and catch and throw and do all the things as about a 3 or 4 year old, and she couldn't do any of that yet because she had never really shown an interest. And then, of course, you don't want to let your little brother especially show you up. So that's kind of how it got involved, and then started looking at the game and said, well, we got to have a pitcher. So started, taking pitching lessons a little bit, and very quickly, it was pretty obvious that she was kind of a natural at it. Very quickly, actually. Now, the dream that she'd ever turn into the, Gatorade Player of the Year and, Conference USA Most Valuable Player over at MTSU, absolutely not. But, a lot of testament to her. She worked really, really hard at it for a long time. I tell people that think that position especially is easy to do. I tell probably for about 12 or 13 years of her life growing up, I would say at least 300 days out of the year, every year, we were doing something throwing a softball. Whether that was spin work with spinners or something, but there was very few days out of the year that there wasn't some time spent, working on the craft. And that's a testament to her. She was all in, and, it paid off. She got an education out of it, and, got to travel and see a lot of places and meet a lot of good people. And she still has friends that she played with growing up, and, at college that still best friends. So, that's ultimately, that's really what it's all about.
All right, over or under, Randy Jennings has caught 1 million pitches of just Corey's?
I don't know if it's 1 million, but boy, it's way up there.
It's got to be close.
Probably feels like it anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, I look back, I sat on a 5-gallon bucket and caught so many balls, it's unbelievable.
Randy, I tell a lot of people that I consider myself to be the richest man in Tennessee, and I mean that with all sincerity, because I know 500 head football coaches that I've had the opportunity to get to know really, really well. What is it about people like you, for example, who you might as well have been a coach all of these years, either in your own backyard or on the school field or whatever the case may be, but it's almost like there's a gene in certain people that whether they know it or not, that's what they're going to wind up doing in their life is being around kids.
And I think that goes, you said it best there. I love kids. I've always, that's all I've ever done has been around kids and young adults, obviously at the high school. But, and sports was such a big thing to me growing up that, I just relate so many things in life back to sports and to the concept of, the team and, what you have to do to make not only yourself better, but in turn that makes the team better. And, that happens in life. That's just how life works. You can't do it on your own. And so I think I feel fortunate, obviously, to been able to do what I've been able to do. Use sports to be able to further my career, because I firmly believe that's what that background has helped me become, a 25-year administrator in the school system. And, and like I said, I love kids and love being around kids. So, that's, I don't know, I think it's kind of a calling. I think that's what it is.
All right, I can't leave Stephen out because Cullen and Chelsea be mad at me. But Stephen, a great career at DeKalb County, both on football field. Unfortunately, tore his ACL at Smith County at Carthage, but then wound up being a first-round pick in the draft. Went on and played minor league baseball for several years before hanging it up. Now an administrator at DeKalb. I know Stephen's had a great athletic career as well.
Yeah, he did. He, like I said, he probably his first love. I'm not going to say his first love, but I think he really loves football. Loved it growing up. Just the scheming and that part of football he just really always liked. But Stephen, he also wasn't dumb. He realized he had a golden arm that the good Lord blessed him with, and he worked hard at it. Like you said, had a great career in both football and baseball at DeKalb, and was fortunate enough. He was actually a second-round pick, but was fortunate enough to get drafted, and had actually signed with Ole Miss to play baseball. And decided to go ahead the pro route, and had a good run at that. But as of all things, that's such a small percentage of people that finally make it to the big leagues, and he gave it his shot, and he's good with where he's at. But again, he's had a blessed life so far through sports. That's what I tell both of my kids. If nothing else, sports have given you opportunities that most kids just don't get. Most people, they've seen more parts of this country than most people see in their lifetime, and they're 30 years old and below. So but again, he had a great career, and he's ready to move on with life. He's got like I said, he's got a little boy and got a little girl on the way. So we're just proud of him. As you said earlier, if people were listening when you started, and what you said about me, you can understand that Jill and I, the good Lord has definitely blessed us beyond measure with our kids and now our grandkids and just, our lives.
Well, Randy Jennings, we appreciate you visiting with us now in the DeKalb County Central Office, former standout player up there, and a couple of kids that were pretty good too. So anyway, best of luck, Randy, and Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Thank you. Y'all have a Merry Christmas too.
All right. We've been visiting with Randy Jennings here on the Box Score. And when we return, we'll have Dirk Ash, former Smith County coach, as we remind you, you're watching the Box Score, brought to you by Wellworth Bank.
Why do our customers choose Homeland Community Bank? because we're committed to providing top-quality financial services while focusing on those personal banking relationships that treat you like the friends and neighbors that you are. From checking and savings to loans of all types, including those focused on business, Homeland Community Bank is truly ready to meet your needs. Contact us today to make the switch to better banking. Homeland Community Bank. Banking by the people, for the people. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
At Wellworth Bank, we believe care makes for better banking. It's what turns transactions into trust and customers into neighbors. To us, people are more than numbers. They're families building futures, dreamers starting new journeys. We believe care should come standard because you're worth it. You always have been. Wellworth Bank, care in common. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And welcome back into the Box Score Christmas edition. Wellworth Bank is our title sponsor. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair. Justin Malden always doing a great job behind the scenes. And we've got 4 interviews today in our Christmas session. And one of those with Dirk Ash, former Smith County High head coach, coached at Friendship, came to Smith County, that would have been in the 80s, took the Owls to the 89 and 91 state tournament team. His 95 team, when he had coached both girls and boys, still holds the record for number of wins. I think it was 25-6 is what they finished. Then he got into administration part, was at Laverne High School last before he retired, and now he's got some other gigs that he does. But Coach Ash, we appreciate you taking time to visit with us.
Well, I'm glad to be here and not at a school working.
Coach, I know at Smith County when you got there, of course the boys program wasn't very good. Had suffered some pretty lean years since I'd got out in '84. And I know that Bobby Huffines, which is a former assistant of yours, and then Denise Hackett, which was your girls' assistant when you were coaching both. One of these is coming a question from them. Just how important were they in the success of Smith County was both of those coaches? And I'm not going to tell you who told me to ask that question.
Well, the first time when I came, I didn't have an assistant. So Bobby came, I think, after the first state tournament team, and there might have been a year between that buffer before he started. So when I had done it completely by myself for 2 years, and that was not working. It was much, much better to have somebody with Coach Huffines and his experience to come and take the B team and play in the freshmen, especially in camps in the summer, and then his contribution to practice every day and at games, bench control, and being civil and nice to the players when they came out into the game, giving them positive reinforcement, which I didn't do, was a big plus. And then when I took the girls immediately, Denise had just got out of college, and she came aboard, and having her to connect with the girls and her work ethic and her knowledge of basketball was much more beneficial. I've told people forever as an administrator when I'm talking to them now that you have to be able to hire good people and let them have roles that are important and turn it over to them. And I was fortunate enough with those two to be able to turn over anything and everything to them. You know, it would be taken care of and probably done better than I did.
Coach, over the years, I've covered an awful lot of ball games here in Tennessee in multiple sports, but I'm pretty sure I could count on one hand the number of coaches I know that have coached boys and girls basketball at the same time for a long time. Tell us a little about how that came about. Was that your idea, or was that Smith County administration's idea, or a little bit of both?
Well, the way I remember, I think Coach Ballou had decided to move on, and Mr. Lewis came to me and talked to me about if that was feasible. And I think at that time, there might have been one or two other coaches doing both. So we talked about how that would work and how he could help me make that happen with work schedule. Because at Smith County, we were different at that time. We could have practice every day with girls during fourth period and every day with boys during sixth period if they weren't in another sport. So he gave me a schedule that was really good and was willing to give me the help that I needed. So I thought I could do it. Really, the only problem we ever had was, two problems. Once, I remember Beth Wheeler, I called out some play, and she just looked at me at half court dribbling, and I said, "Run it, Wheeler," and told her, and she just looked at me, and I was furious, took a timeout. I said, "What's your problem?" She said, "Coach S, I've never heard of that. I don't know what you're talking about." And so what I had done was I had called a play that the guys run, and that I had not given the girls yet.
I could see that coming, Dirk, when you started talking about that.
So that told me there's a problem. So then my wise self decided, okay, I told them we're doing the same thing. Both teams, same play, same everything. So I don't get in that situation again. And then I started noticing that when we had games and the other teams in the district weren't there, boys coaches were at the girls' game. And then Danny Bond told me, we can watch the girls play and hear what you say and see it and know what you're doing. And we couldn't tell in boys' games. So it kind of hurt us in a way that it exposed what we did when we, I hate to say slowed it down. Let's say when the girls were more deliberate and maybe executed cleaner, people could see it, know what it was, and know what was coming. So those two things we kind of had to adjust, but it worked out fine.
Coach, in 1989, the Owls had 4 seniors. Andy Dennis, Scott Apple, who's the current principal at Smith County High School, Mouth Rigsby, and Jackie Ridge. And those 4 seniors helped lead you to the state tournament. Wound up winning a region championship at Bledsoe County, where all you and your great wisdom, Michael Collins is on the foul line with about 2 or 3 seconds left, and he's got a 1-and-1, and you're down by 1, and you were so confident in Michael as a sophomore that you pulled all the players off the free throw line, knowing that he was going to make it and you were going to play defense. Is that right?
I mean, that's the way it happened. That's not why it happened, but I looked out there at him because I didn't have any more time out. So I knew, okay, I pulled everybody's line 1-and-1 to the region championship for overtime. Depending on what he does, and I just looked at him. I believe he was a sophomore at that time. I guess somebody found out. And I just yelled out and said, Collins, you need to hit this because nobody was there. Yeah. So he hit it, and he hit the next one. And then the way they listened, I had those 4 over there with me, and I told them, if he hits the next one, do not put any pressure on the ball coming in. Just play behind your guy, and we'll ride it out and win. There was very little time left. And sure enough, they went to throw it in, and Scott Apple went diving in front of his man and knocked the ball away with no foul, and we won the game. But as Scott Apple sometimes did, he didn't really listen to what I said.
Coach, I know your wife Nancy was a pretty good basketball player herself. How much did she add to your basketball coaching throughout your career?
Well, directly, very little. Indirectly, my first coaching job I had, I was a football coach. That's what I was doing. And I was at a junior high, and to get the football assistant's job, I had to coach girls basketball. And I didn't know girls basketball, except I'd watched her play for 2 years for Campbell Brandon. So since it was Campbell's theater, when it went, my first year was 6-on-6, and then it switched to 5-on-5. But Campbell Brandon helped me quite a bit when I started. So through that connection, I got a lot of basketball wisdom. But she stayed out of my basketball, and I stayed out of her raising kids. And luckily, that was a good move for us on both ways. She did a great job with the kids, and they're excellent human beings now. And I was successful with basketball and was able to walk away from that.
I've told a lot of football coaches across the state that I'm pretty sure they married up, and I think you probably did the same thing with Nancy, didn't you?
Yeah, I was fortunate, or she was blind.
John Austin, your son, is now a cardiologist, and then, of course, your daughter, Amber, is in administration as far as school goes. And you've got, tell us how many grandkids, I forget.
I've got 4 and 4/5. John Austin's third one is coming in January, so we'll have a total of 5. And they go from ages 15 down to unborn but coming.
Coach, let's talk a minute about the '89 team. In fact, I did the public address that night, and my man Murphy Fair did the radio with John Wood. Quite an atmosphere that night. We were going to wait and open the gates at 5:30, which was 2 hours before the tip-off of the sub-state game. We played Chattanooga, Notre Dame.
We
had 5 players that wound up signing Division I scholarships. We played them at home. The Owls are, but let me finish my story. We wound up opening the gates at 5 because there was such a throng of people outside, and we had about 2,100 packed in there in Bill Landers Gym that night. They cheered for 2 hours, went crazy, and then, of course, their athletic ability showed. We got behind 53-35, and that was with a minute and a half to go in the third quarter. And then the Owls caught fire, hit 3 threes before the end of the quarter, trailed by 9 at the end of the third, and then outscored Chattanooga and Notre Dame by 18 points in the fourth quarter to put the Owls back in the state tournament for the first time in 28 years. Was that your most special moment ever in coaching?
It was very special, and the crowd was unbelievable. It was one of the top, because the next time when we played in the sub-state, it was probably just as good. But playing at home with the community support that we had at Smith County was really a once-in-a-lifetime thing. But we had that support the whole time we were there once we started winning. But it was already the town, the community supports athletics like crazy. So it was there for football, and they came out for basketball, and for a big reason that once we got momentum going, we were able to come back in a game that we were truly outmatched in. But teams that get to the state tournament, you've got to have good talent, but you've got to be extremely lucky to have things go your way. And that happened to us with that team that night, and we were very fortunate. But the crowd was, I don't think I've ever seen a high school crowd that I've been watching or coaching in or playing that was anything like those 2 sub-state games at Smith County.
Dirk, you couldn't even hear the officials' whistle blow. It was so noisy in there. It was crazy.
And the way the gym set up too, it was pretty loud because everybody's up on one level. But it was, and I can't remember if it was that game or the other sub-state game, but people told me there was probably another 800 outside.
Oh my gosh!
Because they couldn't get in. They shut it down.
Well, Coach Dirk Ash, we appreciate you visiting with us. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and thanks for going down memory lane with us.
All righty, y'all have a nice Christmas.
Thanks, Dirk.
We've been visiting with Dirk Ash, former Smith County coach, and when we return, we'll have a county side of the ledger as Ronny Burks will be joining us here on the Box Score, brought to you by Wellworth Bank.
At At Wellworth Bank, we believe care makes for better banking. It's what turns transactions into trust and customers into neighbors. To us, people are more than numbers. They're families building futures, dreamers starting new journeys. We believe care should come standard because you're worth it. You always have been. Wellworth Bank, care in common. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
All across our communities, DTC is working hard for you each and every day so you can experience amazingly fast internet no matter where you live.
It's time to bench your bad internet and bring in the real MVP, Gig Speed from DTC. For a limited time, new customers get half off gig internet for 2026.
Call, stop by, or visit us online to sign up. DTC, making a difference where it matters most.
Why do our customers choose Homeland Community Bank? Because we're committed to providing top-quality financial services while focusing on those personal banking relationships that treat you like the friends and neighbors that you are. From checking and savings to loans of all types, including those focused on business, Homeland Community Bank is truly ready to meet your needs. Contact us today to make the switch to better banking. Homeland Community Bank, banking by the people, for the people. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And welcome back to the Box Score. We've been joined by Ronny Burks from Cannon County, and you may not know his name, but if you've ever been to a game the last few years, he's been the scorekeeper and the cameraman all at the same time, and a lot of times shooting those pictures from right at the scores table at Cannon County. And I know we've been friends a long time, I guess, since you've done this, because I've done radio since '87, back when Robert A. Harris was the coach. But Ronny, it's got to be fulfilling to you and fun to get to follow the types of teams that you've got to since you've been doing that.
It is. I've been around the basketball program for, well, ever since I started teaching back in the early 70s. So I've kept up with them all along and went to practically every game they've ever played. And it's always been enjoyable to be around the kids, to watch them progress, do well, have success. You know, we've had several runs at district titles, region titles, and the state tournament that we eventually won. And the boys have done pretty well also, with several district region championships and a trip to the state tournament.
Ronny, how did you get started in all that? I know in a lot of schools all across the state, the bookkeeper has pretty much been in that seat for a long, long time, and obviously that's the same for you. But what got all that started back in the, 70s or so?
Well, it was probably the early 90s when my oldest son, Brandon, was playing basketball, and he also played football and baseball and tennis. But he was on the basketball team, and I started keeping stats for the boys' basketball team. So that's what actually got me started. And then later, when Priscilla Smith, who was the bookkeeper for the basketball, got ill, I would step in and help her a little bit. And when Alan Bush was the boys coach, he asked me to do some announcing at the basketball game. So I started announcing, and then when Priscilla got sick, then I just took over the bookkeeping for her until she got better. Then eventually she had to retire, so I started doing both the announcing and the bookkeeping, and then the bookkeeping at away games.
Mr. Ronny, when you look at some of the games, and I've got to attend when Coach Dodgen was there, some of your like sub-state games there at home, of course, but there's always a great atmosphere at Canyon County High School and quite a legacy through the years, both girls and boys, of very successful programs that they have had. And, you know, the atmosphere there is great. And I say this, even if they were having struggling years, they still packed the gym.
That is a fact. I don't care what type of team we had. We've always had excellent support from the community and the local businesses. And we have one of the best traveling support groups of fans of anywhere in our area, possibly the state. And there's been occasions where we've gone someplace and played, and we had more fans in the stand than the home team. So that just shows how much support there has been for our boys and girls teams over the years. And we've had some of those standing room only crowds at our place.
We really have, and earlier this week when we made a trip to Sequatchie County, kind of not all that far, less than 50 miles or so, I guess, from Woodbury to there, but nonetheless, you had to go over the mountain, and I was very pleased with the crowd that Canyon County brought. And like you said, it doesn't really matter who we're playing or where we're playing. There's going to be a bunch of Canyon County fans present, and I guess that's been that way for decades.
Oh, it has. I mean, you go back to when we were doing that state tournament run for those 4 years, and if we'd go to York, we went to Jackson County, Macon County, we would have half a gym full of our fans, and we've always had that type of support. And I'm sure it really helps the kids play better when you have that many people who are sitting in the stands cheering for you.
You know, I go back to being tournament director at White County High School in Sparta when Canyon County would match up against Upperman or, you know, Livingston or some of those teams in the Upper Cumberland, and maybe pull an upset to get the right side of the bracket, which would thrust you into a state tournament. But you could count on Canyon County fans getting there early. I don't care if they had the last game, there was 2 games a night, and if they had the 7:30 game, they would show up at 5:30 to pack the gym, and they had more support than any team in the Upper Cumberland as long as I was tournament director there for, I don't know, 6 or 8, 10 different years, however long I did that.
Well, that's absolutely true. I don't care where we played, when we played. Even when we had to travel all the way to play Summertown, Loretta last year in that region tournament, we had a lot of people made that 2-hour plus trip just to support the boys and girls basketball team.
Ronny, with the win earlier this week over Sequatchie County, that put the boys at 8-0. I've only been doing Canyon County basketball on the radio for 3 years now, but this year's boys team is incredible to watch. They've got several shooters. They've got plenty of size in the paint. Can you remember a boys team that was as dominant early in the season as this one is?
We've had so many really good teams, you know, it'd be kind of hard to say one is better than the other. But this group is talented. They're quick. They play good defense. This is an up-tempo type basketball they're playing, and they are fun to watch. Difficult to keep the scorebook,
But from a fan's perspective, they are, it's an exceptional group. And I hope they do well and we make another run at the state tournament.
There's probably times you'd like to have a spotter down there. Things are going so fast you can't remember who got the last basket.
Well, I'm trying to keep up with attempted shots, made shots, turnovers, rebounds, all that good stuff. And sometimes before I can get everything written down, they've already done 2 or 3 other things. So, yeah, spotter would be handy.
I don't see how you do it, Ronnie, and you do such a great job also.
Mr. Burks, when you're looking at 2 former alumni that are now over the girls and boys program in Ashley, used to be Campbell, and Jared Nave, I know that lets me know because I've been over there for y'all's junior pro. I got roped into that by Coach Dodgen years ago, and I was expecting, he wanted me to come over and help referee. I was expecting maybe, 100, 150 people, and I get there and the gym is packed for that, and then I got an opportunity to call some junior high games over there, and they were just as full as the high school ones, which is amazing that you get that much support from kindergarten kids all the way up to when they approach the high school level. Having 2 local people as your coaches, that's got to add even more enthusiasm to the program.
Well, I think it helps considerably. And both coaches and even the assistant coaches are much involved in the junior pro program. You on Saturday, you'll see many of our high school coaches out there helping run the program, coaching some of the teams. They just do a fabulous job. And I hope the people in the community realize how much time, effort that they put into the program just by not only their practice and going to games, but the amount of time they spend on the junior pro level also. So that's got to benefit the whole community, got to benefit the basketball program, and it hopefully will show up at the high school level.
Ronnie, we've talked about basketball for most of this segment, but you also have some coaching duties in the spring with golf and tennis. How did that come about?
Well, again, going back to my oldest son, when Brandon was a junior in high school, he and I had played some tennis along the way, and he just came up one day and said, "Hey, why don't we try to get a tennis team?" Well, he was already playing baseball in the spring when we played tennis, and he played football in the fall and basketball all winter. And I said, "Well, if you want to, we'll see what we can do." So I got in touch with CSSAA, and his junior year, he played in the district tournament that was held in Sparta and did rather well. And then that started the program, so we wound up having a boys and girls tennis team, which was 1993, I think, when we started that one. No, 92 when we started tennis. And we've been reasonably successful over the years with what the teams have done. I guess the highlight was last year when the boys team made it to the state finals. Unfortunately, came in second, but they put together a really good season and did well throughout the tournament.
Well, Mr. Burks, we appreciate you visiting with us. Best of luck to you and the County, and Merry Christmas.
Well, I appreciate it. Wish everybody else a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and hopefully they have a great New Year.
We'll see you in that new year when Cannon County and Smith County meet on the hardwood. We want to say that puts a wrap on our 4 interviews for our Christmas edition of the Box Score, which is brought to you by Wellworth Bank. For Justin Malden and Murphy Fair, I'm Terry Collins. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.